Assalamu alaikum, you are watching Back to Bahria. Back to Bahria, where we call our alumni who share their experience of personal life and professional life with us. Today we are having a guest who has very vast experience in the telecom sector and serving at a very senior position in UFON. Today we are having Kamran Moeen. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Very good. Allah shukar ji.
How do you feel coming back to Bahria?
Coming back to Bahria, it's been a long time. Almost, if I calculated, almost close to two decades, almost 19 years. Our class was class of 99, graduated in 2001. So a complete transformation in terms of so much of construction I've seen here. Abhi jab main enter hua, it was remarkable. बाहर से नहीं लगता था कि there is so much of construction happen. But it's good to see Bahria has grown, not in terms of the buildings, and I think in terms of the stature also.
So obviously इतने टाइम के बाद आएंगे, construction है, infrastructure has been improved a lot. But what's the difference you have seen here before and after? Like आप प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में जाने से पहले आपको एज अ स्टूडेंट जब यहाँ पे थे तब कैसा फील होता था, एंड नाउ यू आर कमिंग हियर एज alumnus here, so
सेंस ऑफ अचीवमेंट है. आई थिंक जब बहरिया में हम आए थे, इट वाज हमारा, इट वाज नॉट द दिस कैंपस, वी डिडंट जॉइन दिस कैंपस. सो आई डिड माय बैचलर्स एंड इट वाज द कैंपस जो कि आपका बहरिया कॉलेज का कैंपस था. वी स्टार्टेड क्लास ऑफ 97, वी डिड अ बैचलर्स देयर, एंड even the MBA, it was half here and half there. So only 1 year we had MBA here. Rest of the MBA was at the Bahria College. So it's a complete, sense of achievement. Bhi lagti hai कि the college, we all had our doubts when we were here at Bahria, we'll be able to do well or not. But I think whatever we read here, along with a lot of hard work and guidance of parents and teachers and everything, eventually माशाल्लाह Allah has been very kind to us, and आप एक स्टेज पे पहुंच जाते हैं जब आपको लगता है कि यार नहीं, it was worth it, and sense of achievement भी आती है, और बर्थ का भी अंदाज़ा होता है कि नहीं, it has what it takes.
So do you remember any of your teachers जो उस टाइम पे आपको like जिनसे आप बहुत inspired थे या motivated थे?
सारे बहुत अच्छे टीचर
सारे बहुत अच्छे थे.
हमारे एक टीचर थे मोइन जफर, he was a visiting faculty at that point. Then there was a high teacher थी Madam Salma Atif.
Yes, she's still here.
Oh really?
If you want to meet her, I can arrange it.
Highest regard for her. She was very, very kind while teaching, as well as whenever we go to her for any advice, she would always very forthcoming. Then Ahmed Salman, वो भी थे यहाँ पे. So these are the Sarat साहब भी थे यहाँ पे. But I think he was most of in a admin role में थे उस time.
Yes.
इतना ज़्यादा पढ़ाते नहीं.
He recently got retired.
Yeah, so he was very, very kind also to us. बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने हमें गाइड किया चीज़ों के ऊपर. So all these people, बहुत जिनके नाम मुझे भी याद नहीं आ रहा है, so excuse करना चाहता हूँ, सारे नाम याद नहीं, but
okay, कभी वक्त नहीं मिला या क्या ऐसी रीजंस थी कि आप बहरिया कभी वापस नहीं आए देखने के लिए कि कितना चेंज हो चुका है? What was your institution before and now?
I think fault lies with us. While there is an alumni organization at Bahria, but I blame myself for this because they have been knocking the door too often, but हम unfortunately नहीं आ सके. XYZ reasons हो सकते हैं. But I think अब the kind of setup I see here, separate departments. You were telling me there are almost 12 departments here, so it's a complete organization. So I think coming back to Bahria, it's coming back to a full-fledged, human being. When it started off, it was at a very embryonic stage. It was very little, very small baby steps they were taken at them. But it's mashallah a complete structure, a complete body, a complete system now. It's good to see, good to know.
Where have you seen your class fellows? Are you connected with them, your friends? Where do you see them? Are they have the same progress in their life or what?
I think most of them have done very well for themselves. Remember, we are the batch of Bahria. We were a very young batch of Bahria at that point in time. So I do not want to compare it, the kind of teaching there and at this point in time, but we all have done very well. Some of them are in Pakistan, are doing reasonably well, and some of them are even in some of them are in North America, in UK, and everywhere. I haven't seen any low story. We have only seen successful stories of Bahria. So ऐसा नहीं है कि आप कह सकें कि once you graduate from Bahria you'll struggle. You will struggle, but once you'll eventually get there. So that's the kind of hope we need to hold on to while we enter Bahria. And we did have the same hope, and we've done well for ourselves.
How sure you were when you joined Bahria University, when you were doing the BBA and then the MBA? Because at that time you were in the pioneer batch of the Bahria University. And at that time people were not more tilted towards the management field. So how was it? Who was your inspiration behind this degree program?
Look, to be honest, we were reasonably uncertain, as you would might imagine. We didn't know what to do because we had options of getting into the normal commerce BCons and everything.
Yes.
And then you have a Bahria, which was at that point in time was in the building. But I think our parents, my brother, my parents, they have seen the good foundation in it. And they guided us because we only found out about Bahria once we get into that. But before that, it was a lot of encouragement from my brother. He actually introduced me that, you know what, why don't you go and try this? Because the foundations here look far more solid than the other available schools in Islamabad at that point. So I think credit goes to him that he showed me this way.
Okay. Tell us about our students or our graduates. Like, since you are from the pioneer batch, so you might have seen a lot of variants in the market. So how was your experience with them?
I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. It depends on person to person also. There are, those who have graduated from Bahria, some of them have, impressed me a lot. When I'm doing an interview, I tend to do an interview a lot of universities also. I have experience of it. Some of them would, surprise me with a lot of energy and a lot of, acumen. But some of them would not, surprise me. They would say, then I would tend to question that, there are a lot of stuff that Bahria can do to, make these output better. And I think there is a need to continue to evaluate of, the placement strategy or the placement visibility of Bahrian graduates. You see that the placement and the departments where they go to would give you a good proxy of how your graduates are doing. It's good to get a job, but I think Bahria should have an ambition to get good jobs in good organizations. So there could be ordinary jobs in good organizations, and there could be good jobs in good organizations. So I would like Bahrians to get to good organization at good departments and good jobs. So that's what exactly I would like to see.
So, okay, let's go back. Let's rewind our discussion a little bit. Tell us about your any good experience in Bahria, like experience with friends, experience related to teacher, any naughty moments or some cherishable things.
Look, when we entered Bahria, it was we had to wear a uniform.
Yes.
So we had to wear blue trousers and white shirts. And I think it was the second day at the college, at the Bahria College, they asked us to get together at the auditorium. We did that, of course. And the rector at that point in time, he was, I think, an ex-Navy officer. So उन्होंने एक चीज़ की जो एक kind of ज़हन में रह गई generally, उसे ऐसी चीज़ें याद नहीं रहती. उन्होंने कहा देखें, you're all young and you have a lot of energy, we can see. But trust me, I have enough people in Pakistan Navy to mark one person with every individual. So you need to behave. So and we had a good chuckle about that, good laugh about that also. But that's the kind of thing that you can tell that there was a lot of discipline, which I think was very important. हमें शायद उस टाइम लग रहा होगा यार ये क्या बात हुई आप हमें क्या कह रहे हैं. But I think he did the right thing. He basically inculcated the very discipline which is required at that age, because you tend to do various things. You are rather raw at that age. So good to know that there was a uniform at that point. And I know a lot of students would, would not like me saying this, because freedom and lack of uniform could be freedom also, but it gives you a little bit of discipline also. But I think Bahria at that point in time, if you're asking me what one incident I would remember, that incident I would always remember. The rector saying, behave.
Behave. So this was the overall experience you have with the Bahria University. What else you want to share regarding your personal life with us?
After Bahria, we were lucky enough to get into the telecom industry. Telecom industry at that point in time was again at a very nascent stage. So, and it happens to be in Islamabad also, because we were also based in Islamabad. So, Allah has been very kind. The industry was
flourishing at that time.
Was starting to grow at that point in time, and we were graduating. So, the match was there, and I joined Jazz. At that point in time, we call it Mobiling. It's now Jazz, as a rebranded. Spent a lot of time there, almost, if you ask me, a major portion of my life, of working life was with Jazz at various departments. I've grown with Jazz. And then I decided to move on after about 13 odd years, and decided to join UFON for a better opportunity, for job enrichment, and UFON at this point in time was as a challenger. So I had an experience of working in a market leader, and UFON was a challenger. So I wanted to find out that how good am I if I am working in a challenging department, challenger company, can I do equally well or not? So, so there are some successes, there are some failures also all the way, and that's a bit of a summary of my career I've shared with you. So.
Okay. We'll talk about your progress later, in a later stage. You are watching Back to Bahria. We'll be back right after the break. वेलकम बैक टू बैरिया। अभी तक हम मोइन साहब से बात कर रहे थे उनकी प्रोफेशनल लाइफ और पर्सनल लाइफ से रिलेटेड। अब हम थोड़ा सा टिल्ट करेंगे अपनी डिस्कशन को टुवर्ड्स क्या सजेस्ट करते हैं हमारे ग्रेजुएट्स को कि वो मार्केट में जाने से पहले क्या क्या चीज़ों के लिए अपने आप को प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं। सो सर टेल अस अबाउट कि कौन सी ऐसी आप कह सकते हैं स्किल्स होनी चाहिए रिलेटेड टू सॉफ्ट स्किल्स हो जाएं या आईटी बेस्ड स्किल होनी चाहिए जो कि हमारे हर स्टूडेंट के पास हों जब वो मार्केट में जाएं, और वो क्या एक्सपेक्टेशंस लेके जाएं या वो बिल्कुल एक्सपेक्ट ना करें मार्केट से किसी भी किस्म की चीज़ को।
It's always good to carry your expectations very low, but there's no harm in carrying an expectation. ये नहीं मैं कहूँगा कि expectation बिल्कुल ही ना रखें लेकिन low रखें। आई थिंक सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ जो एक्सपेक्टेशंस मैनेजमेंट के जो आपके जा रहे होते हैं उनके लिए सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट जो चीज़ होती है कि हार्ड वर्क का देयर इज़ नो नेमल मदल। इफ़ यू जस्ट पुट अ लॉट ऑफ हार्ड वर्क, ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में डिपेंडिंग अपॉन विच यूनिवर्सिटी आर यू कमिंग फ्रॉम, द एंट्री कुड बी डिफिकल्ट और ईजी, बट योर सस्टेनेबिलिटी एंड लॉन्जेविटी would depend on how hardworking or your attitude towards the work वो कैसा है। Because once you pass through a certain gate, फिर आपकी अपनी परफॉर्मेंस होती है। यूनिवर्सिटी आपको जो सिखा सकती थी वो सिखा चुकी है। वो कहते हैं ना कि क्रिकेट में भी अगर आपको कोच जब तक आप ड्रेसिंग रूम में है वो आपको गाइड करेगा, परफॉर्म आपने जाके ग्राउंड में खुद करना है। दिस इज़ क्रिटिकल। बहुत से हमारे लोग जो हैं वो दे कैन अंडरस्टैंड द क्रिकेट एनालॉजीज, हेंस आई एम यूजिंग दैट क्रिकेट एनालॉजी दैट ग्राउंड में तो आपको ही परफॉर्म करना है, और वो परफॉर्म तो दुनिया देखती है। यहाँ तो आपके टीचर्स देख रहे होते हैं, आपको गाइड कर देते हैं। वहाँ पे जो चांस ऑफ यू गेटिंग एक्सपोज्ड और डू वेल वो आपके पास होता है, और उसको फिर सबको देखने का मौका मिलता है कि आप कितने कुछ सीरियस हैं या नहीं सीरियस हैं। एक तो ये मेरी एडवाइस होगी कि आप अपना हार्ड वर्क जारी रखें, बिकॉज आपको कोई भी जो है ना ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दे विल टेल यू द कैटेगरी, हाउ द कैटेगरी इज डूइंग एंड व्हाट यू शुड बी डूइंग इन अ कैटेगरी। दे विल मेक यू अवेयर अबाउट द कैटेगरी, बट वो आपको जो नहीं सिखा सकते वो एटीट्यूड टुवर्ड्स द वर्क और आपको हार्ड वर्क नहीं सिखा सकेंगे। सो कोई भी आपको किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी आप जाएंगे, आपको हार्ड वर्क का कोई नमल बदल नहीं है। एक क्लीशे चीज़ें हैं जो मैं कह रहा हूँ, ये सच है, लेकिन यू हैव टू कंटिन्यू डू द हार्ड वर्क, बिकॉज हार्ड वर्क का कोई नमल बदल नहीं है। एक तो ये बड़ी चीज़ इंपॉर्टेंट है। दूसरी जो चीज़ बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है, जो कि मैं इंटरव्यूज़ जब मैं कर भी रहा होता हूँ वेरियस यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के, मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ आपका CGPA क्या है, तो वो कहते हैं कि कोई कहता है कि 3.1 है, 2.9 है, पर मुझे कहते हैं कि सर CGPA में क्या रखा है। तो मैं उनसे कहता हूँ कि देखो CGPA इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। कहते हैं हाउ सो। मैंने कहा देखें, आई विल डू योर इंटरव्यू फॉर हाफ एन आवर, आई विल अंडरस्टैंड योर बेसिक लॉजिक and try to understand your basic logic. Chances are that sometimes I'll get a successful understanding of your talent, but there are chances that I would be not getting the right understanding, because half an hour में कितना कुछ मैं जान लूँगा आपके बारे में. But your grades, your CGPA is telling me about the story of what did you do in the last 4 years or 5 years depending on the program, because that उसका भी कोई substitute नहीं है, because getting a good CGPA is not only about how well have you done into your in your curricular activities, but also how did you do in your rapport development with the teachers also, because when the teacher is marking the papers, he also has some softer learning and observation of how did you do it. So that 4-year grading is a good shortcut for me to evaluate how good you were or you can be once you enter the organization. So grades को ये ना करा करें कि grades important नहीं है. Grades tells you a good story about yourself in the last 4 years.
कोई ऐसी रिकमेंडेशन या सजेशन आप देना चाहते हो हमारी फैकल्टी को, डिपार्टमेंट्स को या एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को कि ये स्लाइड चेंज होना चाहिए एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के अंदर, जो कि हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को ज़्यादा अच्छे से ग्रूम कर सके, या हमारी रैंकिंग को या हमारी पोजीशन इन द मार्केट ज़्यादा बेटर हो सके?
I think सबसे इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये होगी कि जो the graduates who are going into the market find out exactly what task are they doing. If they know what task are they doing once they graduate, only then they can go back and put them in a part of the curriculum. So I think it's kind of a gap analysis of what my student struggles with once they reach the organizations. Usme we can be a help, those who have spent good amount of time in the corporate world. Your recent graduates, they can always be a good feedback. Okay, excuse me sir, or excuse me management, these are the areas I'm struggling. So you can always have a two-way conversation going on. You will find out. So if you continue to get the feedback, you will continue to improve yourself. It's a classical case. I was telling a lot of people, the people I hire, there's something you can't see, you can't fix. For that matter, you need to create the visibility of things which are critical to you. If you can see it, chances are that you would fix it. If you can't see, how do you fix it? So what you need to do is to develop that gap analysis, so actual gap analysis of where your students are struggling once they get to the organization. I think that's something agar university ke log, if they are not doing it, they should do it. But chances are ke when I look at it, they must be doing it already, because I've seen improvements. In our graduates, थोड़े बहुत उसमें हम देख रहे हैं कि there are improvements coming in, but there is a long way to go, as I said it. Us management, the management of the university, the alumni and everybody can put together and chart a very pragmatic or practical ways of how to improve it, with the good signs of success के अगर ये कुछ चीज़ होगी इसका मतलब our strategy is working. So that's something at least we do it throughout our career. I think we can share those insights with you guys, and you can also improve with that.
All right. आप मार्केट में देखते हैं, या आप टेलीकॉम सेक्टर से अगर हम रिलेटेड बात करें, कि जितने भी हमारे ग्रेजुएट्स जाते हैं टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में, ऐसी क्या चीज़ है, आपने बात की हार्डवर्क से रिलेटेड बहुत सारी, कि हार्ड वर्किंग होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड दैट्स समथिंग विच इज़ एन एटीट्यूड, और हम कह सकते हैं एक बिहेवियर है जो इनबिल्ट होना चाहिए या लर्न करते हैं. आपको ऐसी क्या चीज़ लगती है जो हमारे ग्रेजुएट से रिलेटेड हो, मार्केट में जाके वो किस चीज़ के ऊपर ज़्यादा फोकस करें, या वो जॉब सर्च के लिए जाएं तो उनको क्या चीज़ क्लियर होनी चाहिए? लाइक विजनरी क्लियर होना तो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपका विजन एक बहुत क्लियर. व्हाट एल्स दे नीड टू बी श्योर अबाउट?
I think, again, I'll go back to the same argument that I gave earlier. The foundation has to be solid. If the foundation is shaky, when I say foundation, I'll tell you what does it mean. Then no matter if you're working in Google or H. Kareem Baksh or Ufone or Jazz or PTCL or any organization, chances are that you would struggle if the foundations are not. The foundations are, wo kya hai? Foundations ye hai, for example, if you are in a marketing department, the university as well as students should have a clear understanding of what is expected out of a typical graduate. If I ask anybody what is marketing, you will have a very colorful reply to that. You know, some people would define it differently, some people define it differently. But you exactly know what is a typical department, marketing department, you know, their job description. If you know that, you can inculcate that bit of job description into your course material. For example, I give you a very, very basic example. I see a lot of university students, not only from Bahria, from other universities too, other than 2 or 3 universities who tend to do well in those areas, they would be very, they would struggle in Excel, you know, because बहुत से बच्चे MBA करके marketing करके आते हैं ये दिखाइए जी, you know, हमने ad कहाँ बनाना है? Look, marketing is not about ad. Marketing is all about, you know, zeros and ones, about nickels and dimes. For that, you need to understand the basics of, you know, logics, the mathematics, and what good a mathematic is in this age if you can't do in Excel. If you are good in Excel, if you know your maths, and if you are good in logic, chances are that you would do well, regardless of which university you are. And if you are hardworking, that's icing on the cake.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and giving us suggestions. आपके साथ बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा और हम आपको दोबारा भी कनेक्ट करते रहेंगे और प्रोग्राम्स के लिए भी और फर्दर हमारी जितनी भी ओपनिंग्स होंगी उनके लिए. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग बैक टू बैरिया. विल बी बैक विद अ न्यू गेस्ट some other time. Keep watching.